recording. Okay, so welcome to our second Brothers Trust podcast. A bit different format today. We have I'm up in Scotland working, so we can't unfortunately be together, and I don't think we could be together even if I wasn't in Scotland because of COVID restrictions. But I'm really happy to have Phoebe on the show, on the podcast, and say hello, Phoebe. Phoebe is helped by the Momentum, which is a children's charity in near where we live in Kingston in southwest London. And Phoebe, when did you first hear about? First of all, what is Momentum, and what great things do they do?
Well, Momentum is kind of a charity that, obviously, and they kind of help specifically kids with kind of really bad illnesses like cancer. I think they help kids with like other stuff as well, but I'm not sure. And they've been helping me and my family throughout all of this. They kind of provide like really fun activities like boat trips, or they have actually a mascot, an owl, who can come to your house and they have a couple of cabins and kind of holiday places in the UK where you can go and stay for a weekend just to get away from hospital.
Nice.
They've helped a lot.
So where have Momentum sent you then on holiday?
We went near the New Forest. It was kind of a little cabin near the beach, and they helped us with a ton of activities. Like we could just go up and relax on the beach. It was actually around Halloween, so we had Halloween because obviously this year we couldn't see any friends or anything.
Okay.
And we did some really cool stuff. Like we did some archery lessons. My sister went fossil hunting at the beach. And
okay. How good were you at archery?
I'm okay. It was the first time I've ever done it, but I really enjoyed it. And so after lockdown is over, we're going to try and get me into an archery club, because I can't do netball, which I did before, because doctors have told me I'm not going to be able to do that anymore because I got like a knee thing.
Okay, well, it's nice that you have archery to fall back on. And I know, when are you out of lockdown? When?
Well, this lockdown is ending next week. I'm really hoping they don't put us back into lockdown again, but obviously it all depends on what's happening. So
and
I don't think it'll be normal again for quite a while.
And how long have you been associated with Momentum?
It was a few months after I got diagnosed. I got diagnosed at the start of February.
And what were you diagnosed with, Phoebe?
Osteosarcoma, which is a type of bone cancer. I had an osteosarcoma in my knee.
Okay. And how many years ago were you diagnosed?
Just this last February.
When you hear the news, what was your initial reaction, and what coping mechanisms were in place to help you get through this?
It was just, I honestly didn't really register it for like a week, because went into hospital wearing my school uniform, and I was expecting to go back to school and everything, and like I was expecting it to be I don't know, a stretched muscle or something, because I've been having pain in my knee for a few months. They sent me to have an X-ray, and then I went back up and the doctor just told us it was a tumor, which was absolutely insane. And after that, everything happened really quickly, and so many people have been like supporting us, me and my parents and my little sister. Like the nurses and doctors are amazing, and lots of charities have been helping us, like Momentum. There's lots of stuff in place to help us.
And how does Momentum support you and your family in a unique way?
Well, we've gotten to know the kind of founder of the charity, Bianca, and she's been really nice. I actually have her as a contact, and like she kind of checks up on us, and if we want anything or if we need anything, we can contact her, and she's always kind of willing to even just have a chat with us, even though she's really busy. Like, when I wanted, on the last day of my chemo, I wanted to make some like shortbread for the nurses to say thank you, and I went over to her house because our oven was broken, and a friend of hers was a baker, and we just made lots of shortbread for the nurses.
That's lovely. And I was reading about Bianca, and she started off as a receptionist at the Kingston Hospital, and found herself sitting beside the beds of children who had cancer, and she kind of found a calling to start this charity. I think in the early 2000s, and I was just reading on their website all the amazing achievements they've made in such a short period of time, and the amount of people they've helped is a really nice thing to see. And being part of the Brothers Trust, who help Momentum keep doing their work, is a really nice thing for me and my family, and nice for people like you who are going through these things. And how obviously when you get diagnosed, it's obviously, we talked about the shock and how hard it was. How much has it affected the family dynamic, and how have the family coped as well?
It's affected us quite a lot. I mean, obviously it's been absolutely horrible, but it's also, I've gotten much closer to especially my parents, because my mum's been having to come up to hospital with me, and even though it's been absolutely awful, I've definitely gotten a lot closer to my family, which has been something that's really nice.
Yeah. And I saw that on they decorate the rooms really nice, because I think a lot of hospitals have got bland walls, and it's quite not a nice place to come. But seeing the cancer wards with all these bright colors, and the playgrounds, how much of that is beneficial for someone like you, who has to obviously visit hospital quite regularly?
I think it's definitely really, really nice. I've actually only stayed in a room they've decorated once, because normally I'm staying up at UCLH, which isn't one of the hospitals they
Okay.
usually do. But it was really nice. I actually had COVID at that time. I was staying up in hospital.
Did you?
Yeah. I
Oh,
went in for a different infection. They gave me a COVID test, and we found out I had COVID on top of that,
oh
which
my
was,
God, it doesn't stop for you. Bless you. What was that like?
it was, it's a bit funny now, because this sounds bad, but because it was just so unexpected. I just went in for like an infection, which wasn't really a big deal.
Yeah.
And we kind of got a COVID test, and then the next morning they kind of walked in like hazmat suits
Well,
after just
so
being wearing masks.
when did you have COVID? Was it
Oh, it was right back in like March, I think.
so
It
at the
was,
start of lockdown then?
yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't know much about it then, and it was being treated. In Monsters Inc. when was it
Yeah.
2319, and they're like everyone comes out in the hazmat suits. But now I've actually had it in I think around June time, and it was you know it seems to be a bit more common now. But getting it in March must have been quite scary, because we didn't quite know how severe it was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was actually, the Monsters Inc. thing was exactly what I was picturing when they kind of walked in the suits, and it was quite scary, definitely, but they kind of reassured us and were like, it's in people your age, it doesn't normally affect you, and they gave me antibiotics, and
Okay,
it was
and
all
you're through
fine
it
in the end.
now.
Pardon?
You're over the COVID now. Over the
Yeah, I'm still having to like be really careful though, because we don't know what chemo does to the kind of antibodies COVID is supposed to produce.
Okay. And you mentioned chemo there. How is chemo in terms of how it affects the body? I know it's trying to kill the cancer. How is it day to day?
It's really difficult. I was having to stay up in hospital for 5 days at a time. I was having this new thing called, oh God, I was staying in a hotel with like connected to this backpack which had the chemo in it,
Right.
and going into hospital every day. And it was just I was throwing up, I was just sleeping all the time. Definitely the first chemotherapy was the worst, but it doesn't really get much easier.
And what round of chemo are you on now?
I finished chemo about a month ago. Right now I'm on immunotherapy, which I'm going to be on until February, which doesn't affect me as much. It just makes me quite tired.
Okay.
But I'm only having that once a week, so that's much. The worst of it is past now.
Okay. And are you much happier on the immunotherapy than the chemo?
Yeah, definitely. Because the chemo, you have to like stay up there for almost a week and it makes you like feel really ill, and you have to be connected overnight, which means you can't like have a shower or anything.
Oh.
With the immunotherapy, you just have to go up once a week for a few hours and
And are you being
just.
treated in London?
I'm being treated at UCLH in London, yeah.
Okay. And you know, I read on the website that there's a big support group attached to Momentum, you know, and have you been in touch with any other families who are going through similar things with you?
Not as many as I would have liked to, because with lockdown and everything, we haven't been able to attend the normal activities.
Okay.
I know my mum and dad have been in touch with a few other like parents, but I haven't been in touch with many other patients. I'm really hoping that once all this is over, I'm going to be able to go to some more meetings and stuff and meet other kids who also have had something like this.
And how important is it to interact with people who have the same illness as you and know exactly what you're going through?
I would say it's really important because I mean, obviously all the nurses and doctors and my parents will do everything to try and understand, but it's very difficult being like a teenager who's got this and not being able to do the normal stuff teenagers can do. And my friends have been so amazing and supportive, but obviously their problems right now are preparing for GCSEs and stuff like that, whereas my
Mm.
problems are kind of chemo and
Yeah.
immunotherapy.
So how is school going? Are you still attending school?
I haven't been attending school since I got diagnosed. I've been having tutoring. I'm supposed to be starting to go back for individual lessons after Christmas holidays, depending on what COVID's doing. We're just having
Um,
to be really careful.
you excited to go back?
Definitely. I mean, staying out of school for a few days is fun. Staying out for 9 months is just really boring. I mean, there's only so much to watch on YouTube before you get really, really bored.
Yeah, I mean, um, and what's your favorite subject at school?
I would say probably English. I want to be an author when I'm older. So,
Oh,
yeah,
do you? Who's your favorite author?
probably Rick Riordan.
Oh,
Um, he
what has he written?
he writes Percy Jackson.
Oh, that's right. And did you like the films? Have you seen the films?
Yeah.
That's a no, basically.
I mean, they weren't as good as the books, I don't think.
Do you find it's nicer to, do you prefer reading books than watching films?
Yeah, I've always been a really big reader, and just my mum and dad have probably gotten so frustrated with me through all this. I mean, not frustrated, but a bit like, because I've been buying so many books because I just need to read.
Honestly,
And I've just been buying.
yeah, my parents had to put up with the Xbox and the PlayStation and a lot of, you know, smashed controllers. And they begged us to read. So I'm sure that you're welcome in our house and you read all the books you like.
No,
Um,
they love me. I'm reading. They just want me to reread the a million books I've already have.
so what are you reading at the moment?
I've just finished reading a book, right? It was kind of this book about this kind of dystopian future, kind of, where
What's it
like,
called?
oh God, what? I can't remember.
Oh no, that's a shame. No, and the only reason I asked is Tom did a like a sci-fi film which was coming out soon called Chaos Walking. So I thought it might have been the same.
Oh, I've read that. It's really good.
Yeah, so Tom's playing Todd Hewitt.
I watched the trailer. I really can't wait to watch the movie.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And he, when he was making it, the character has a tattoo on his forearm here, and it says, "I am Todd Hewitt." And he was on a plane, and I think a passenger was saying, "You okay, Todd?" And he was thinking, "What's going on? My name's not Todd, it's Tom." And he saw the tattoo, and Tom was kind of having him on, saying, you know, he had short-term memory loss. And he was waking up on the plane and like pretending he didn't know where he was. And the guy bought it, but I think Tom let him off and told him he was only teasing him. But no, it's really obviously you're very into your books. How does that help with, you know, going through what you're going through, being able to escape into a different world?
Well, it's quite nice because it just means I can just read while all this is happening, because I mean, like I said, so much you can watch on YouTube, and it's really nice just being able to escape into another world for kind of a little while and just kind of ignore what's happening.
Mm. And do you feel like momentum has that kind of effect on other people as well? Because as you mentioned, you went to the New Forest and got to experience archery. And do you feel like momentum does so much good because it lets people forget about their own problems?
Oh, definitely. It really kind of, it's so amazing, and everyone there is so nice, and it's just really nice to be able to go on a trip and kind of forget about what's happening for a little bit, for my parents and my sister as well, because it's hard for me to kind of be walking around doing stuff and then kind of, if I'm in the wheelchair or something, see people kind of looking at me with, I don't know, pity or kind of like, oh, that poor girl, because it just feels a bit weird. And
Yeah.
I imagine it must be kind of hard for them as well to have that happen, especially my sister, because she's used to kind of being being her older sister and kind of the one taking care of her, and now she's having to be the one taking care of me a little.
How old is your little sister?
She's 11, although she's turning 12 in January, which you would definitely want me to add.
Okay, and how, to what extent does she know what you're going through? Do you kind of shield her from certain information, or is she like full on, you know, knows everything and supports you all the way?
We try and tell her most things because she wants to know most things, but definitely we also try and make sure she has as normal of a kind of like year 7 and year 6 as possible. Like she still goes and sees her friends like one-on-one with the lockdown rules and everything,
Right.
and she still goes to school. We kind of help, she kind of, mum and dad kind of help her with her homework, so we try and make sure it's as normal as possible. And it's definitely much better now I'm not on chemo anymore, because it was hard when mum was having to come away for like 5 days at a time. She was not liking that at all.
Yeah, and how, you mentioned earlier that it's brought you closer as a family. Do you feel like you have a stronger bond with your sister now?
I would say in some ways, yes. I mean, I can't do the things I used to do with her. Like I would used to go on the trampoline or play games with her, but we still try and kind of do things together. But now it's more like playing board games or watching TV together or playing Among Us or stuff like that.
Oh, okay. And what's your favorite board game?
Well, she likes playing chess with me, and she also likes this game called Carcassonne, which is like you have to build a city or something.
And who normally wins the chess matches?
Sasha.
Oh, really? No, chess is a
Yeah.
yeah, chess is a good fun game, and it's nice that it's nice to see that, you know, you have a lovely sister looking after you through this tough time, and it must be nice to come home and, you know, still have a really nice relationship. Um,
Yeah.
what would your life look like without momentum? Like, how have they changed this experience for you in a good way?
Well, I probably would have had a lot less, like, I would have just had hospital. The only things I would have been able to do was just hospital, and then going and then being at home, and I wouldn't have been able to do, and it's really nice just to be able to feel like a normal teenager for a little while, which is what momentum kind of does.
This must be a nice time for you guys.
Oh, definitely. Well, we're really hoping to go up and stay with my grandparents up in Scotland, but if that isn't going to happen, we're just going to stay here and kind of probably have a Zoom with them where we open all our presents and stuff.
Oh, that's nice. And whereabouts in Scotland are they?
They're in Edinburgh.
Oh, okay. And do you go to Edinburgh quite a lot?
Normally, yes, we went there last Christmas, and we normally go up at most half terms and stuff. This year we
Okay.
haven't been able to, but we've been kind of still staying in contact with them through like phone calls and Zoom and stuff like that.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean it's really nice to hear how upbeat and spirited you are, Phoebe. I think we're all guilty of um, being down in the dumps at times, and it's really nice to see, even though what you're going through, you're such a lovely girl and you're upbeat and you look on the bright side. You've got a lovely family, lovely relationship with your sister, and
Don't be fooled, I'm definitely very down in the dumps at times.
no, I know we all can be, and I think it's really nice to see charities like Momentum doing such amazing work for kids going through this awful thing, and learning more about Momentum is good for everyone. And I think if you can head over, if you have any more questions or you don't know quite as much as you like from this podcast, you can always head over to their website. And it's a brilliant website. They've got some great videos on there, and they've shown you all their accomplishments and all the hard work they do and the support they offer you and your family. It's really nice to see, and it's at the last podcast with Alex's Wish and with this one now, it's a real honor for me to interview people from these charities and see the great work they do. And it's a real honor to support you guys and do whatever we can to keep up the good work, basically.
Thank you.